Mr. Chidambaram's residence since morning over here, and we've been told that the raids began early this morning from 7:30, and about 12 or 13 CBI officials were inside conducting the raids. Right now, we did see a few CBI officials, have a chat among themselves. About 2 to 3 of them having a chat among themselves. We've also saw the fact that we also saw Karti Chidambaram, in fact, coming out, who also stays over here itself in this very same residence, where he came out and not willing to comment, but all he said was whatever needs to be said has been said through a statement by his father, also saying that this is completely a political witch hunt, this is something, a political vendetta, trying to tarnish the image of the Congress and also of the Chidambaram. So that's what we've been hearing since morning. But from here, all we could gather from the residence of Mr. Chidambaram is there were a lot of senior Congress leaders from the state also who came over here. Chidambaram loyalists also over here. Peter Alphonse, we saw Karate Tyagarajan, we saw K.S. Alagiri, all of them right over here, come outside the residence and to show their support. And also there are slogans also being raised by certain Congress cadres over here, where against the centre, against the BJP, against the CBI. About an hour ago, we saw about 4 CBI officials leave the residence, of course, not willing to comment. But otherwise, pretty much that's been the state over here. That's been the state of affairs as far as Chidambaram's residence is concerned. We are trying to, we time and again we try to ask for a reaction and a comment from the Chidambarams, but that's not. They're being tight-lipped about it. All that has been said. But if you notice the pattern, if you notice what has been, everybody has just gone on record saying just one thing, saying that this is political vendetta. This is being done with malicious intent by this centre and by the BJP, hand in hand with the state government, of course, and the state government machinery. So that's one thing that everybody has been maintained. Even we spoke to the legal counsel also, who was right outside and not being allowed to go inside, who also told that there were certain family members of the Chidambaram family who are also being held in confinement within the premises of the residence.
காரணத்துக்காக காழ்ப்புணர்ச்சி மீது என் மீது இந்த ரெய்ட் நடக்கிறது. எந்த ஒரு ஆவணத்தையும் அவர் கைப்பற்றவில்லை. என் மீது எந்த ஒரு குற்றச்சாட்டையும் அவரால் நிரூபிக்க முடியாது. எந்த குற்றமும் நான் செய்யவில்லை. இது அரசியல் காழ்ப்புணர்ச்சியால் இந்த மத்திய சர்க்கார் என் தந்தை மீது அவருடைய குரலை நசுக்க வேண்டும் என்பதற்காக இந்த முயற்சியை எடுத்துக்கொள்கிறார்.
खबर आ रही है चेन्नई से, जहां पता लग रहा है कि सीबीआई ने छापा मारा है एट फॉर्मर Home Minister P. Chidambaram and his son Karti Chidambaram's residences. Big development this. I'm going to go across to Shabir Ahmed, who joins us on the phone with the details. Yes, Shabir.
Well, the information is that raids are happening at former Home Minister P. Chidambaram's residence and his son Karti Chidambaram's residence and office. This is what we are being told, and raids are being conducted at least 16 locations is what we are picking up from our sources. The reason for these raids, some sources say that this is related to Aircel Max's deal and the involvement of P. Chidambaram is what sources are telling us. But still, we are waiting for concrete information from CBI officials as to why exactly raids are being conducted at the residence of former Home Minister and his son Karti Chidambaram. So this is something of huge development that has taken place as far as if it is related to Aircel Max's deal, because Chidambaram's name was doing the rounds, and perhaps there was also some kind of movement from the centre. The raids seems to have begun at around 6:30 a.m. in the morning, Anand, and this is what the information is. Only limited information we have got. All we have got is a confirmation from our sources that there are raids being conducted at P. Chidambaram's residence, his son's residence, Karti Chidambaram's residence, and in fact we are trying to locate where P. Chidambaram is, and what we have found just now is that Chidambaram is also in Delhi and Karti Chidambaram is in Chennai, and we are waiting for more information as to why these raids are taking place, as to what is the reason, and what is the story behind this is something that we are trying to pick up. But this is a huge development. Former Home Minister's residence being raided here in Chennai, and 16 other properties related to him has also come under the CBI scanner.
This application is unnecessary and misconceived. Unfortunately, India has seen it fit to use the International Court of Justice as a stage for political theatre. We regret that this has been done. We will not respond in kind.
26-year-old woman was allegedly attacked by her driver in the Shivalik area of South Delhi. Now, we understand the woman is battling for her life after she was repeatedly stabbed in the neck. The police are on the lookout for the accused driver. Going across to Priyank, joining me over the phone. Priyank, a shocking attack there in the national capital. Can you take us through the details?
Yeah, certainly. The incident happened yesterday around 2 p.m. when Kaveri was about to take her car out, and when she approached her former driver, Anil, to help her new driver to take out the car because he was not aware about the area. Later on, Anil multiply stabbed her on her neck, and later on, Kaveri was admitted in the local hospital. What Delhi police is saying that they have managed to know the identity of the driver with the help of the one of the neighbor of Kaveri, and who admitted her to the nearest hospital. On the basis of the statement, they are trying to identify the location of the driver Anil, who was allegedly involved in this particular incident. The reason because of which this stabbing incident has happened is yet to be known by the Delhi police officials. They have issued a statement where they have said that the former driver of Kaveri, who was working with the family, Anil, had stabbed her, although the reason is still unknown for them.
It couldn't have gotten more embarrassing for Pakistan. The International Court refused to allow Pakistan to run the doctored confession tape in open court. Lame defense and ridiculous rhetoric. That, in short, summarizes Pakistan's long-winded rant justifying death sentence to Kulbhushan Jadhav. Now, the world waits for the proof.
रुक करते हैं उत्तर प्रदेश की ओर, जहां यूपी के चीफ मिनिस्टर योगी आदित्यनाथ के विधायक जीएसटी जैसे मुद्दे पर कितने गंभीर हैं, इसकी एक झलक आपको मॉर्निंग न्यूज़ आवर में सबसे पहले दिखा रहे हैं। विधानसभा में ये देखने को मिला हमें। ये तस्वीरें उस वक्त की हैं जब सदन में जीएसटी बिल टेबल किया जा रहा था। योगी जी के मंत्री अपनी नींद पूरी करने में व्यस्त नजर आए। हर छोटे बड़े मुद्दे पर हंगामा करने वालों के लिए ये तस्वीरें हैरान करने वाली हैं। एक तरफ प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री ताबड़तोड़ बड़े फैसले लेकर यूपी का चेहरा बदलने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, और दूसरी तरफ उनके विधायक हैं जो अपना रवैया बदलने के लिए तैयार ही नहीं। आमिर हक जुड़ना हमारे साथ फोन पर। 30 मार्च को भी हमें कुछ ऐसे ही दृश्य देखने को मिले थे, अब फिर ये दोहरा दिया इन्होंने।
जी बिल्कुल आनंद, देखिए ये बार बार बात यही हो रही है उत्तर प्रदेश में कि एक तरफ तो एक ऐसे मुख्यमंत्री हैं जो बहुत कम सोते हैं और ज्यादातर समय अपना काम में लगाते हैं, क्योंकि उन्होंने एक तरह से प्रण लिया है कि उत्तर प्रदेश में तमाम चीजों को ठीक करना है, पूरे सिस्टम को ठीक करना है। लेकिन दूसरी तरफ उनके विधायक और मंत्री हैं जो शायद उस सीरियसनेस के साथ उनकी बातों को नहीं ले पा रहे हैं, और शायद यही वजह थी कि पहला दिन कल था उत्तर प्रदेश में विधानसभा सत्र का, जो इस नई सरकार में शुरू हुआ है। वैसे ही काफी हंगामेदार रहा, तो काम बहुत कम हो पाया और बहुत जल्दी एडजर्न हो गई थी विधानसभा। लेकिन शाम को 4 बजे विधायकों के लिए ये एक मीटिंग बुलाई गई थी, जिसमें जीएसटी को लेकर तमाम चीजें, तमाम जो भ्रांतियां विधायकों के अंदर, मंत्रियों के अंदर रही होंगी, उनको दूर करने की कोशिश की जा रही थी। एक संस्था के लोग बुलाए गए थे जो बाकायदा 2 घंटे तक जिन्होंने मीटिंग करके और सभी विधायकों को जीएसटी के क्या प्रावधान है उनको बहुत डिटेल में बताने की कोशिश की। मुख्यमंत्री वहां पर मौजूद थे और सभापति वहां पर विधानसभा के वो भी मौजूद थे, पर देखा गया कि कई विधायकों को वहां पर नींद लेते हुए। तो जाहिर सी बात है, जो सीरियसनेस है मुख्यमंत्री के अंदर काम करने को लेकर, जो कमिटमेंट की बात करते हैं, वो कहीं ना कहीं विधायकों में मिसिंग दिखाई देता है, उन्हीं के पार्टी के। क्योंकि अगर इस तरह से वो सोते हुए नजर आएंगे ऐसी खास मौकों पर, तो जाहिर सी बात है काम कितना कर पाएंगे हर कोई अंदाजा लगा सकता है।
A person was seen firing 9 rounds in the air while celebrating his birthday. The person is identified as Mirza Ibrahim Ali Beg from Faluknama area of Hyderabad. The police suspect that he used his father's licensed pistol and have registered an Arms Act case against the person.
The
big breaking story at this hour. Lalu Yadav's son-in-law has now responded to Times Now's expose. Shailesh Kumar, Misa's husband, continues to dismiss allegations of land scam. He says that having investors in any business is normal and businesses and assets are everyone's right. That's the first reaction that we have got from you from Lalu Yadav's son-in-law. We will be going across to my colleague Prashant for more on this big story. The first reaction that we have got from Lalu Yadav's son-in-law, who has now responded to Times Now's expose. He has said that, in fact, he has dismissed all allegations of land scam once again. He has also gone on to say that having investors in any business is normal and businesses and assets are everyone's right.
Opposition floats Pranab Mukherjee's name for president. As Pranab Mukherjee remains silent, NDA remains evasive on the subject.
Moving on to breaking news coming in from Jammu and Kashmir now. A blast at a mini bus stand in Kishtwar has been reported. 1 person injured and 3 vehicles damaged in this blast. In fact, Times Now has accessed exclusive visuals of the blast, which we are putting out for you. And this happened at a mini bus stand in Kishtwar region. As per the reports initially that we've gathered on this blast, 1 person is reportedly injured. 3 vehicles were damaged. Pradeep is joining me on the phone line now. Pradeep, what more do we know about this blast? What was the cause of it? How did this all happen?
See, today morning at about 7:30 a.m., there was an explosion at a mini bus stand, which is also known as Old Bus Stand in Kishtwar, in which you rightly said 1 person was injured and 3 vehicles were damaged. Soon after that, police and the security force personnel reached the spot. They cordoned the area. They're right now trying to find out what was, in fact, whether it was a bomb blast or whether it was a grenade lobbed by someone. They're right now investigating. As you can see, the impact of the blast, the 3 vehicles are completely damaged because of this explosion. It's after a long time that such an explosion has taken place in Kishtwar. We have seen that during the last few days, the efforts are being made by the terror-related outfits where they are trying to revive once again the terror-related activities in the Chenab Valley belt. Just 2 days back, a Lashkar module was busted by the J&K police. They were also, in fact, asked by the Pakistan ISI to just start terror-related activity in this area. And today, this explosion, Jahangir Saruri, who is the Hizbul commander operating in this area for the last 20 years, he's believed to be the man behind this. Right now, investigation on. It is too early to say what was the kind of explosion, whether it was a bomb blast, whether it was a timer, or whether it was improvised explosive device. The condition of the injured is said to be critical. He has been evacuated to the hospital, and right now the investigations are on. The area has been properly cordoned, and search operation is also being conducted to find out the people behind this blast so that they can pin them down at the earliest.
Lalu Prasad Yadav has finally reacted to a string of raids which were initiated early in the morning today by income tax authorities. Well, these are 22 raids in and around NCR, Gurgaon and other places. Times Now had given you details on how Lalu's daughter and son-in-law were beneficiaries in great land transactions. Well, this is what Lalu Prasad has said. Let me read out from his tweet. BJP के नए alliance partners मुबारक हो. लालू प्रसाद झुकने और डरने वाला नहीं है. जब तक आखिरी सांस है फांसीवादी ताकतों के खिलाफ लड़ता रहूंगा. Well, the martyr act by Lalu. Let's look at the next tweet. बीजेपी में हिम्मत नहीं है कि लालू की आवाज को दबा सके. लालू की आवाज दबाएंगे तो देश भर में करोड़ों लालू खड़े हो जाएंगे. मैं गीदड़ धमकी से डरता नहीं हूँ. Well, essentially a very belligerent Lalu Yadav. We know how much he's rattled by the entire sequence of what has happened here. The 22 raids across NCR, thousands of crores worth property being probed by income tax authorities. Well, this is the take that Lalu has come up with. Our reporters were at Lalu's residence. He refused to speak and he had come out with tweet, but later in the day, of course, he might just be speaking. But the indication is very clear that RJD Supremo Lalu Yadav is very clearly hit by the series of IT raids which have happened in and around NCR.
News just coming in. Times Now has accessed more details of how INX Media's funding took place. 750 crore rupees were raised by the Mukherjees to start INX Media in 2006-2007, and a bouquet of channels, including a music channel, a Hindi general entertainment channel, and a news channel were started as a result of that financing. In fact, remember why we are putting out this in perspective is because this morning the CBI started conducting raids at about 17 locations across Delhi, Chennai, Mumbai and Gurgaon at the residences of the Chidambarams, and this is in connection with the criminal misconduct in grant of FIPB approval to INX Media in 2008. Bhavtosh is joining me now on the phone line for more on this development. Bhavtosh, first, if you can tell us more about the details that we've managed to gather of how INX Media's funding took place. What is the sequence that you can put out for us?
Well, according to the CBI, they have said that the Enforcement Directorate had carried out a detailed probe even earlier, as late as 2008. Now, what they have found is that Peter Mukherjee and his wife Indrani had raised around $170 million, which is approximately around 750 crore rupees. Now, on paper, they showed that this funding was done in a manner which even raised doubts at that point of time. There were companies which were based out of India, like Tensac, which owned 20% of the funding, and then you had companies like New Silk Route, which also owned around 20% of it. 10% of it was owned by a company which was called New Vermont, and 50% of the funding was done by the Mukherjees. Then in January 2009, when the entire venture tanked, Music was the first channel that was sold off by Mukherjees, and then in June 2009. New Silk Route, which is now being dubbed as a shell company, subsequently purchased shares of Tensac as well as that of New Vermont. So effectively, Mukherjees then controlled nearly 100% of the INX Media venture, and then they also sold off 9XM as well as the general entertainment channel.
You know that the whole country will come to know this is the most corrupt party in the history of the world.
The moment after report the CBI raid at Chidambaram House, the Congress come out and accusing the Narendra Modi government of destroying reputation of
Chidambaram had only one reputation: that he was a crooked, mean liar. What he did against Sadhvi Pragya and so many other people. I mean, this Hindu terror. He even changed the Samjhauta Express from LET to Hindu groups. I mean, the man across the board. He's a liar, cheat, and fraud, and he has to be in jail.
Senior Congress leaders said that what we have been doing for 3 years.
That is true. I was also unhappy with the delay, but now I'm happy.
They have said that if there were serious charges, if you have evidence, establish it.
Yes, of course. That is in the court of law, not for the Congress party to ask. Ask the Congress party to appear in court.
In Bellur of Hassan district in Karnataka, 25 people have been admitted to hospitals after a gas leak incident into the drinking water facility was reported. The gas leak spread to half-kilometer radius. It was a technical fault that caused the leak, and then this, of course, leak entered into the drinking water facility. Nikhil joining me on the phone line now. Nikhil, this is a very serious incident of gas leak affecting 25 people as per the initial reports. Give us more details.
Well, on another day, the consequence could have been far worse, but in this particular case, it was a chlorine gas that is normally mixed with water to maintain certain levels of purity, which also acts as a disinfectant. And in Belur, a washer connected to this particular tank that holds water had gotten loose, because of which there was an excessive release of gas into the water, which also spread across a radius of about half a kilometer. It resulted in many people suffering different kind of respiratory ailments and difficulties, because of which about 25 have been admitted to the hospital. They were all said to be out of danger, and the technical fault also has been rectified, and an inquiry has been ordered into, the report of which will be tabled soon.
All right, so an inquiry has been lodged, but also the fact that, you know, this gas leak was detected before much damage could be done. Perhaps we can say that the authorities got it on time?
Well, it was a little delayed because of which it resulted in many people being taken ill, but it was in time enough for them to avert a bigger disaster that possibly would have come about. On this day, the authorities did manage to come in at the right time, but there is a need to carry out periodic audits. We are told by people in Hassan district and around that there are hardly any audits and checks that are carried out periodically that would ensure maintenance and upkeep of these equipment, which would ensure that there is a cut down in the technical faults as well. But not having done that on a regular basis, it has resulted in this particular instance, should serve as a lesson.
All right, Nikhil Joshi with that report. Thanks very much for getting us the details.
उन कॉलम से कोई बहुत बड़ा तूफान आया हो ऐसा कुछ हुआ नहीं है देश में। सवाल ये है कि विदेश से जो निवेश होता है भारत में, जिसमें FIPB फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रमोशन बोर्ड की परमिशन लगती है, सवाल ये उठता है कि उन परमिशन के लिए, उन मंजूरी के लिए, निवेश की मंजूरी के लिए क्यों जिन लोगों को मंजूरी मिली उन्होंने कुछ कंपनियों को पैसा दिया जो कंपनियां उस समय के वित्त मंत्री के लड़के की हैं, उनकी मलकियत की हैं। सवाल वो है और सवाल उसका जवाब जनता चाहती है, देश चाहता है। और मैं समझता हूं भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार हर मामले में पारदर्शिता में विश्वास करती है और हर चीज में जो कानून का रास्ता है वो कानून अपने रास्ते पे चल रहा है। धन्यवाद।
After raids were carried out at Karti's office and P. Chidambaram's residence, sources tell your channel that Congress is now saying that the raids are being carried out with malicious intent and it's a way to harass the opposition leaders. So clearly you have UPA Mantri crying witch hunt as raids are being conducted at several places. Let me now go across to my colleague Samia, who joins us on the phone line for more on this. Samia, I mean, this is not unexpected, the response that we've got from the Congress party on this issue. Samia, can you hear me?
Well, that's right. The Congress party believes that the raids that are being carried out on their leaders, especially the recent ones at Karti Chidambaram and P. Chidambaram, are only motivated raids, and these are only done with malicious intent to harass the Congress leaders who have the audacity to come forth and talk against the government, pointing out their loopholes and attack the Prime Minister directly. And they are paying the price of trying to be so vociferous when it comes to their attack. And that is what we also saw as a reflection in P. Chidambaram's statement, where he in the last line says that I will continue to write and I will continue to voice my opinion. The Congress party maintained that just like the former leaders like Mr. Huda and Veerbhadra were also constantly attacked by carrying out CBI raids, that the government is trying to use CBI as a tool to attack the Congress leaders and the leaders in the opposition, and also talking about how Lalu Prasad Yadav's residences and many of his official company areas were also raided, is only a method by which the government is trying to instill fear and is only trying to harass the leaders. But they have nothing to hide, and therefore they're going to take the legal recourse and battle it out in the court and not going to be cowed down through these methods of the government. While Subramaniam Swamy rightly believes that there is evidences in place that is to be believed that the companies and the land that are being raided clearly are the stakeholders over there are Karti Chidambaram and P. Chidambaram. But the Congress party is saying that throughout these raids, have the CBI ever been able to find any incriminating evidence against them? For the last few years, as these raids have been carried out, what is the outcome of it? Why these raids, the constant raids, are not yielding any results or any outcome of them? Because are something that is not something new.
This is the big political story that is unfolding today concerning RJD chief Lalu Yadav. Raids are currently underway at his residence in New Delhi, which happens to be in posh New Friends Colony in South Delhi. And these are the live shots which we are getting for you from his residence in New Friends Colony, where the raids from the Income Tax Department are currently underway. Remember, it was an expose from Times Now that really showed how Lalu and his relatives, particularly Delhi, his daughter Misa, were involved in a massive land ghotala. And this morning, Income Tax Department started conducting raids and surveys across 22 locations in Delhi and Gurgaon. Let me go across to my colleague Prashant, who is joining us live now for more on this. Prashant, even as we speak, these pictures coming in of raids continuing at his residence in New Friends Colony?
Well, absolutely, Preeti, and this is the particular residence D1088, one of the properties of Lalu Prasad Yadav's kin, Tejasvi Yadav. And even as we speak, my video journalist Braja is giving you shots of the raids going on. These are the police officials who are sitting at the basement here, and some of the officials, we have given to believe 5 to 6 of them, are on the first floor carrying out raids here. But we also had a word with a lot of locals here, a lot of people who are very frequent visitors of this particular locality. They say that they haven't seen Lalu Prasad Yadav or Tejasvi Yadav here for so long, but they have seen him once very long ago. So clearly this is the residence that belongs to Tejasvi Yadav, and now what remains to be seen, Preeti, if you remember how Lalu Prasad Yadav was dismissive just day before yesterday when we were questioning him on his land deals, when we were attacking him on his land deals, he, instead of giving answers, were, raising questions on the expose of Times Now, even at a time when Mr. Salesh had himself admitted of having the properties, himself admitted of buying lands, and we are venturing out that Michelle Private Limited. So clearly it's a case of high-handedness and it's a case of brazen behavior coming in from Lalu Prasad Yadav. So what clearly remains to be seen from here on is what Lalu Prasad Yadav comes out with now. We have been trying to get to him for the past couple of hours now, but no answers coming in from the RJD, even from Manoja, who had called us Supari journalist and alleged Times Now doing Supari journalism. But clearly today's CBI raids substantiate the Times Now expose and also raises serious questions on the credibility of Lalu Prasad Yadav and the behavior that he had been portraying over the past few days. But what's absolutely very heartening to see would be the response that would be coming in from Lalu Prasad Yadav or Misa Bharti.
Yes, we are indeed waiting for that, whether or not they really have some concrete answers to these raids which are being conducted at several locations. Thanks very much, Prashant, for giving us those inputs on the story. Let me go across to Mr. Sushil Modi joining me on the phone line now. Sir, thanks very much for speaking to us. First of all, your reaction on these raids which are being conducted by the IT department at 22 locations concerning Lalu land ghotala, which was exposed by Times Now.
First of all, I should thank Times Now because of your exposure of this scam. The central government, the central agencies have acted. And I must thank also Nitish Kumar because only yesterday he has demanded that BJP is only raising, they are charging only in the press conferences. And if there is any substance, the central government should act. Only yesterday it was Nitish Kumar himself, and he was earlier also demanding that Narendra Modi should not stop only to Notbandi, but he should take action. He should start a campaign against Benami property. And I think both of the demand of Nitish Kumar has been fulfilled by Narendra Modi's government. And now I think JDU will not stand behind Lalu Yadav and taking a stand of political vendetta. Because only yesterday it was Nitish Kumar's demand.
Yeah, in fact, I wanted to bring out the irony in that statement, really, Mr. Sushil Modi. On one hand, they demand that central government should not just stick to these allegations. They should take action. And when the action is taken by the concerned agencies, opposition parties are crying vendetta. Thanks very much, Mr. Modi, for speaking to us. After Times Now reports, Income Tax Department is conducting raids and surveys at 22 locations in Delhi and Gurgaon. This on charges of Benami land deals worth 1,000 crore rupees involving RJD chief Lalu Prasad. Nikunj is joining me on the phone line for more on this. Nikunj, first of all, if you can give us the latest update on these raids which are being conducted right now by the Income Tax Department, and also how this is a clear impact of the expose by Times Now.
Was the first and the only channel to report about Lalu's land, particularly in the national capital, about his land dealings and his family's land dealings in Bihar. The opposition leader, Sushil Modi, BJP's leader, been making some noises and also been distributing certain documents. But nonetheless, nobody was aware of his land dealings right in the heart of the national capital till the time Times Now's political editor Navika Kumar put those details out. So it is clearly an impact of channels fairly robust reporting backed with false facts and data.
Now, what is happening right now is that at least on 22 locations in the National Capital Region, where Times Now had also reported, various existence of various properties. These are actually Benami properties, and remember that there is a law now dealing with the Benami properties particularly, and the Income Tax Department is the custodian of that law. As such, also under the Prevention of Corruption Act, the Income Tax Department has enough powers to carry out searches and raids about undisclosed income. So initially, the case is about undisclosed of Misa Bharti and Lalu Yadav's family. And then, the overarching probe under the Black Money Act and Benami Properties Act can also come in. They are carrying out raids in the National Capital Region.
I am being targeted systematically.